So there's a lot of information going on right now about how PlayStation 3 prices, the prices for physical PlayStation 3 games are soaring. And while yes, many of those videos are cautionary, they're also extremely enticing to those who may or may not have these games in their collection and now want to add them. And, you know, it's moments like this where heavy FOMO sets in and collectors make one of the biggest mistakes that typically happens is they give in to the FOMO and they pay two, three, and even four times the price for a game that was way cheaper literally a week ago, all because of the hysteria and the hype surrounding PlayStation 3 games. Now, before I dive into some examples of this, I want to take a step back and I want to show you guys something. So let's shift this out the way and let's move this into play. Many of you remember when Xbox announced that they were going to be removing a bunch of, I think, 360 games. I think some of those games are being delisted or removed from their online platform. I can't remember specifically what the announcement was. But I remember just a couple of summers ago, the same exact thing that we see happening with PlayStation 3 right now happened with the Xbox 360. And I'll never forget how Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage 2, skyrocketed in price. And you had people paying close to $300 and even more for this game. And the hysteria and the hype around the Xbox 360 was at a fever pitch. And I know that today, a lot of those people who paid those crazy high prices for this game are feeling very, very dumb today, because within literally a year, I could almost say literally within 9 months, the value for many of those Xbox 360 games dropped right back down. Why? Because people realized that the physical quantity for these games wasn't as limited as many thought, and the market for these games in terms of people who actually wanted to buy these games to collect them just wasn't there. And so now Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage 2, a game that a few years ago was close to $300. Now this game is roughly a $80 to $85 game. I'm sure in some cases you could find this game for $60. Now, the reason why I'm pointing to this game as opposed to other 360 games that skyrocketed in price is because this is probably one of the few games that I would say had a valid reason for shooting up in price. The reason I say that is because Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage 2, now you do have Ken's Rage on the Xbox 360 and the PS3, but the North American version of Ken's Rage 2, if I'm not mistaken, you guys could let me know in the comments, I believe there was only, the North American version of this game was only released on the Xbox 360. Now I do believe there is like a Japanese version on the PlayStation 3 of Ken's Rage 2, but in terms of like North American copies, I believe it only came out on the Xbox 360. So for us here in North America, I can understand if you felt like, out of all the games, I do want to get Ken's Rage 2 because it is a little bit more exclusive to the Xbox 360. And at the end of the day, if you're a big fan of like 3D beat 'em ups like I am, then it does make sense to get it. However, even with all that being the case, this is still a game that dropped in value. So now let's go ahead and go back to where we're at with the PlayStation 3 and look at some of these games, right? Now, how many games do I have here? These 4 to 5 PlayStation 3 games are all games that I picked up this year during like GameStop's a lot of them were like buy two, get one promos. A lot of them were just games that I got using points. And so I did not spend what people are spending today for these games, but I kind of just want to show you what I'm talking about. Now, Blaze Blue, there's a few versions of Blaze Blue, but Blaze Blue Central Fiction on the PlayStation 3 for some reason is like a $400 game or so. I don't know why, but I did see this one available during GameStop's buy two get one. GameStop had a lot of copies of this game, and they were available on their website for like $125, like $135. Obviously, if you got it during the buy two get one, you can knock 33% off on that. And I guess in terms of value, that's a really good deal. But this is a game that you can get on the PlayStation 4 for like $20. So just giving you a heads up, if you really just want to play the game, you can get the game on the PlayStation 4 and not have to pay the exorbitant price. But if you're a collector and you do want the physical booklet and all that stuff for the PlayStation 3, this is going to be a very expensive game. Then you have The Godfather, The Don's Edition. This is a game that I literally got a week ago on GameStop's website for like $54, or for like, yeah, I think it was like $54 or something like that was how much GameStop has it for. And I'm almost pretty sure that GameStop still has this game on their website for probably like $59 or so. So this is a fairly reasonable game that you can pick up. Now, the Godfather the Dons edition has always been one of the more expensive PlayStation 3 games, but with all the mass hysteria around this game, it is now creeping up to 150. I'm pretty sure this game will probably hit 200 by the end of the summer. Will it stay there? I doubt it. I think people will come to their senses and this game will fall right back down to like its $100, $90 to $100 mark. But this is another one that's like going crazy in price, right? Then you have Splatterhouse. Now, I haven't checked to see where Splatterhouse is on the PlayStation 3. I would assume it's following the same trend as most quality PlayStation 3 games. But this is another one that you can get on the 360. You can get the Dons Edition and Splatterhouse both on the Xbox 360. These are not PlayStation 3 exclusive games by any means, but they are good games. You know, Splatterhouse is a good game. It's a really good 3D version of the game. Definitely one that I would recommend if you're building a PS3 collection. But again, you know, if you're gonna attack these, attack them now. Silent Hill Downpour, I picked this up during a buy two get one. I picked these both up on the same day, complete in box. That's funny. I got this, and Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. And I think Silent Hill Downpour was the free game. Another good one. A lot of people criticize the Silent Hill game. A lot of people say it's, you know, not as good. You can play it on the 360, but again, I mean, you know, just prices creeping up on this one. And then you have Azura's Wrath, which from a gameplay perspective is probably my favorite game out of all the games here. I would say from a gameplay perspective, I'd probably say Godfather Dons Edition, Azura's Wrath, and Splatterhouse are probably some of the more fun games. These are more like 3D beat 'em ups, kind of like 3D open world-ish beat 'em ups. You know, I really do appreciate, especially the graphics on Azura's Wrath. I really love the way this game looks and sounds. An amazing game. But another one that's shooting up in value, and again, another one that you can get on the Xbox 360 for like $30. You know, I saw someone mention the other day, they talked about Wet, the game Wet, now going for over $200 for the PlayStation 3 at eBay. Freaking stupid, man. You could get Wet right now for $35 on GameStop's website for the Xbox 360. Do not do this to yourself. If you have $250 and you want to go blow it on a video game, actually buy it. Spend that money on a video game that's actually really rare, maybe older than the PlayStation 3. Maybe you want to get something on the original PlayStation for that money. Maybe you want to get a Super Nintendo or Genesis game for that money. Again, that's if you're collecting for those consoles. I just don't think that right now is a really smart time to spend money on some of these PlayStation 3 games. If you happen to find them at like a GameStop for cheaper, or if you run into them at a yard sale, because it's very, very likely that you'll run into some of these PlayStation 3 games at yard sales, because these are not old games. Yes, they're old, and I know they're classified as retro by GameStop standards, but there are still plenty of copies of these games going around, and I implore you, do not give in to the FOMO. Do not do this. Let this hype fade. Let this season pass. And if you really want these PlayStation 3 games, just wait. And I can almost guarantee you that by, in 6 months, you'll be able to pick all of these up at their normal prices. Now, I could be wrong, right? I'm not Nostradamus. I don't know the future. But history tells me if these games follow the same path that this game did, then there's a lot of people that are going to be out there wasting their money right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'll catch you in the next one. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.